Hey guys, it's Mrs. Metter. I'm going to be trying some new technology today, so hopefully this is going to work and hopefully you guys can kind of understand and see what I'm going to be writing and talking about. So, the first thing that we start environmental systems science off with is talking about major legislation and laws that surround the environment and kind of how all of that is governed. On page 3 and 4 in your binder, there is a very long list of major legislation and laws, which is what I have up on my screen right here. Now, you guys do not have to know every single one of these. There is a specific list of them that you will need to know for the AP test. And I'm going to go through those with you. We're going to highlight them. I'm going to talk a little bit about them and kind of add some notes to the side. So basically, what I would like to see you guys do is to highlight exactly how I am doing, write the notes that I'm doing so that your binder will look exactly like mine. Okay, so up here at the top we can see let me get my pen to work. Oh, there it is. Okay, we can see a very important list of vocabulary words that goes with some of these laws and legislation. So these terms you're going to learn the meaning of throughout the course, but these can also be applied to the legislations and agreements below. Okay, so the ones we're going to go through, I'm going to identify them, talk about them, and write some stuff down. Now, some of these acts or treaties or laws that we're going to talk about, you may have heard of, which is great. Some of them you may not have any idea that they exist, but they do, and they are meant to obviously help protect human life and the environment. Okay, so I'm going to go up here to my, click on that, right, my marker. Okay, the first one we're going to talk about is the Clean Air Act. So if you guys will highlight this one in your binder, this is the abbreviation, okay? So the Clean Air Act is meant to establish primary and secondary air quality standards. When we get to the air pollution unit, you'll know more about the difference between primary and secondary pollution, but basically what the Clean Air Act tries to do is police how much pollution is being released into the environment. Yes, we know that air pollution is released constantly, every day, all day, and the government has set some guidelines on how much companies can release into the atmosphere. Okay, so that is the Clean Air Act. The next one that you need to know is the Clean Water Act. Okay, now this surprisingly does not have to do with our drinking water. Okay, that's another one. But the Clean Water Act regulates and enforces all discharge to prevent contamination of water and wetlands or water-based ecosystems. Okay, so basically when construction sites have a bunch of waste, there's a specific way that they have to dispose of it so that it doesn't contaminate the water. All right, the next one, this one's kind of a mouthful, is the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation, and Liability Act. Okay, we also refer to this as a Superfund. Okay, so basically what this is supposed to cover is the emergency cleanup of hazardous chemicals or substances that have been spilled, if they've been disposed of improperly, or if they've been released into the environment. Now, what this also includes is if you have a neighborhood or a community, for example, that has had some type of pollutant that has leaked into their water source. It's making lots of people sick. This super fund is also meant to cover lawsuits against the government and help pay for medical bills. Okay. All right. The next one we have, this is one of my favorites. So this is the Convention on the International Trade in Endangered Species. It's also called CITES. Sometimes you will see it called CITES. So I want to make a note of that for you guys. So I'm going to go back up here to my pen. Okay, and bear with me because I'm still learning how to use this. Okay, let's see if I can write. Sometimes it's not very pretty, guys, but it's called, ooh, that is an ugly E. CITES. So C-I-T-E-S. C-I-T-E-S. Okay. So let me go back up here to my highlighter. I apparently need to practice how to write with this pen. Come on, marker. Thanks for being my guinea pigs, guys. There we go. Okay. So, CITES controls the exploitation of endangered species through international legislation. So international is the key word here. So this is worldwide. This is not just specific to the United States. Okay. So it bans hunting, capturing, and selling of threatened species and bans the importation of ivory. We know that ivory comes from elephants. Elephants are endangered, and they are killed for sport and for their ivory, so it attempts to protect them. And basically what this is a convention that meets every single year, and they decide which species to add to the endangered species list. Okay. All right. The next one is the Endangered Species Act. So this one's kind of self-explanatory. Okay, so this is the ESA. So this protects species that are considered to be threatened or endangered. It also includes migratory birds and their habitats. Now this one has been in the news quite a bit recently because our current president is trying to remove or get rid of the Endangered Species Act. So I will let you guys form your own opinion about that. But you know that in the United States, we do have several endangered species. One of them at one time was being the gray wolf that lived in Yellowstone. It has since built its numbers back up. But the hunting of wolves has been reopened because the Endangered Species Act is trying to be taken away. All right. So let me scroll down. Okay. Here's the FDA. The FDA has been in the news a lot lately because of the COVID vaccination trials. Okay. This is the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. So what the FDA is supposed to do is ensure our safety and truthful packaging and labeling of food. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but food labels actually are not entirely regulated very well, and neither are cosmetics and what actually goes into the cosmetics. Now, there is a very specific clause of the FDA that you need to know. So I'm going to go back up here to my writing tool. Okay. And I'm going to try to write. So hopefully this is going to work, guys. As y'all saw my attempt before. Okay. So the Federal Food, Drug, Cosmetic Act has what's called the... Oh no! It disappeared. Here we go. Let me try again, guys. Sorry. Okay, so right there, we have what's called the Delaney Act. Okay? The Delaney Act. Okay? So the Delaney Act basically says if a food or substance is known to cause cancer, it cannot be used. Okay? If it causes cancer, it cannot be used. So make sure you write that down, that if a food or substance causes cancer, it cannot be used. And remember, guys, this goes with the FDA. Okay? So we find out stuff all the time that's been used, and then they do studies on it, and they find out that it causes cancer. So we want to avoid that at all costs. Okay? All right. I'm going to go back up to my highlighter, and I'm going to scroll down. All right. The next one we have is the Kyoto Protocol. Okay, the Kyoto Protocol we'll talk more in detail about when we get to climate change. But this is also another international agreement. And 150 countries agreed to reduce their greenhouse emissions. Okay? Guess who didn't sign it? Take a big guess. Oh, you would be right. The United States did not sign. Okay? So no United States for the Kyoto Protocol. All right. I am going to go down to the next page. Where is the other page? Oh, it got flipped. That's interesting. Okay. So our next one is the Montreal Protocol, and this is another one that's going to be focused on climate change. The Montreal Protocol banned the production of aerosols and is phasing out CFCs. So CFCs are bad for the environment because they destroy the ozone. And we're still trying to reduce the size of the hole in our ozone layer right now. So that's why those are regulated. All right. Our next one is the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. So the RCRA. So this has to do with hazardous waste that gets dumped in landfills and storage tanks. So this attempts to have minimal safety standards, and the disposal of the waste has to be done in a very safe way. Okay. The next one is a Safe Water Drinking Act. So this one is what's going to protect our drinking water. So the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, has a set of standards for drinking water. Okay, so you have to have a certain number of chemicals in the water that are going to keep the water safe to drink. You can't have E. coli or other types of things that are going to cause disease. And the EPA is what sets those limits. All right, our last one. Actually, that was our last one. Awesome. Okay, so make sure you guys have all of those highlighted. You've added those additional notes in there that I attempted to write on the screen. You will have a matching quiz in Canvas over these laws. You can use your notes because obviously I can't be there to monitor that. But if you have any questions about any of these, please send me a message, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.